Have you ever wondered what would happen if you combined Doom and Warhammer 40k? Well, this is quite literally what you get. Boltgun is one of my favorite games of recent times because of how many things it gets right when it comes to boomer shooters that other games just can't nail down. Boltgun has some of the most fluid movement I think I've ever felt when playing a first-person shooter, and that in itself is an achievement. I have never played a game that allows you to run around so quickly, yet feels so fluid and not feel jagged at the same time. And the art style too is nailed to a crisp. It has the same feeling of the original Doom games, but takes its own modern kind of turn on the Doom games graphics that makes it just look so much better in many different ways. Now, I'll be completely blunt here. I know jack shit about the Warhammer series in terms of the lore, so I didn't really understand the story of this game, but of course, if you're into 40k, you're going to, understand this game a lot more than I did. And despite not really understanding the story too much, I still loved the fuck out of this game. And since this is in the Warhammer universe, all the guns look super unique and just have these really cool designs that you don't really see, at all in other games, just because they're unique to this series. And I've only really played Vermintide 2 and Darktide, and even then I haven't played them that much, yet I enjoyed this game so much, not really knowing much about 40k. Now, I will say my one gripe on this game is that it is a bit on the short side. I beat it in about 6 hours on my first playthrough, but I think that'll be fixed whenever I go back to play on the other difficulties. I only really played on medium, so, it was a somewhat challenging experience at times, but for the most part, it was a breeze. Not a breeze. It was still difficult at parts, but it still felt to the point where it's enjoyable, per se. Also, all the enemies have these really unique and cool designs that really differentiate them apart from each other, and they just look cool, I guess. I don't know what other word to say for it, because I know it's because it's the Warhammer universe. They're, completely unique to this universe. But Jesus Christ, especially the Space Marines and all the variants of the Space Marines just look so cool. I would also like to talk about just how well these weapons are balanced for a game like this. Different guns are used for different enemy strengths, which, makes sense, of course. And I love how it's balanced. Some guns should only really be used for the weaker enemies, while others should be used on the much stronger enemies, which makes it a game of having to switch between your weapons quite often if you really want to stay efficient. And also, this game probably has the most unique take on a melee mechanic I think I've ever seen. Instead of most games where it's literally just a punch or a knife, one swing or whatever, you have a chainsaw basically attached to your hand. And essentially, when you hit the enemy, you can spam V to continue revving it up as you're chopping into them, which does even more damage and keeps them stunned. It's an interesting mechanic I've never seen used in a different game. Used in a different game, and I wish more games had more unique melee mechanics. I wouldn't count this as a negative since it's kind of a given for the gameplay style that is, boomer shooters, but you can very easily get lost in these maps, which is kind of a given at this point with boomer shooters. A lot of them have maps that might be hard to understand, or just first time around, it takes a little bit to figure out your surroundings and figure out, where to go, where to place your keys, etc., etc. I'm really hoping this game gets some sort of DLC or even a sequel, possibly. The ending is kind of a cliffhanger, if I'm honest, and kind of leaves you wanting more, as I mentioned with the length of the game. But with these developers, I've noticed that a lot of the time they usually add updates later on into a game's life cycle. So who knows? Maybe that'll happen for Boltgun, maybe not. I really do hope so, though. For a final rating, I think I'd want to give this game like a 9.5, mainly just because I wish it was just a little bit longer and had more to do, like maybe even some sort of wave survival game mode. But, you know, you can't have everything, obviously. But, yeah, that's really what I gotta say about the rating for the game. Now, this next section is just kind of talking about the channel and stuff and what I'm, gonna do soon here. So, besides this video, because this video is essentially just an in-between between other projects that I'm trying to work on, because I have a really bad schedule, but I am off of school now. I got off, yesterday, so I should have time to, you know, actually work on stuff. So, the first thing I think I'm working on after this video is going to be either an Ultra Kill review or an analysis of Amori. One of those two. I'm not sure which one just yet. I am working on a script for the Amori one, but I might end up doing the Ultra Kill review first. Just because they're both games I really like. I like Amori a bit more though, if I'm honest, just because of what game it is. But I really don't know where I'm gonna go with it just yet. I have ideas for the Ultra Kill video, I just don't have a script for it started yet, and I'm only about a page into the script for the Amori video. The Ready or Not video I've talked about in community post, I'm not sure if I'm still doing it, just because I don't know much about the lore and it seems kind of complicated, and I don't want to get into that. And also just because it could be controversial. Some of the things I was planning to bring up could be pretty controversial. I can't fucking speak. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this little review of Boltgun. I don't know what the next video I'm going to work on is just yet, but hopefully I get to work on it soon. I do want to push out more videos now that, you know, it's summer and I have time to, you know, do shit finally. So expect more uploads possibly during the next couple weeks up until like early August, which is when I start school again. So hopefully time doesn't pass too quickly and I can actually push stuff out. That's it for me. See ya.